There are some news that you will hear, and it will just spark up rage inside of you from within you. Here it reads that Rwanda says it has agreed to take up 250 migrants from the US. This was a news from 12 hours ago. I remember I made a video asking if Africa has become US's dumping ground. Because it has become a norm now that it's like whatever it is that is unwanted gets dropped in Africa or dumped in Africa. Let's read this news to see the excuse or the reasons behind why Rwanda has agreed to take 250 migrants from United States. Migrants that the United States themselves termed as illegal aliens, are these same people that Rwanda has now agreed to take. It is not funny, considering the fact that when you look very much, there are many agreements that take place behind closed doors of which we are unaware of. But then the African leaders come around and hide behind the pretext that, we are doing this for certain humanitarian reasons and this. According to Yolanda Makolo, Yolanda Makolo is Rwanda's government spokesperson. She said the reason why we are taking this is because Rwanda herself has been a victim of a genocide in 1994, and during this period they were supported, they were helped humanitarianly. Fine, right? But now you're using that as a pretext behind taking 250 illegal aliens, right, as the United States termed them. The question I want to ask is this: if the reason why you are taking these so-called migrants is because you feel some humanitarian urge to offer your own support and help, just like it was once given to you, then we should look very much inside the African continent and ask if we do not have people in Africa that actually need this support more than the outsiders all the way from the United States. Yes, currently as we speak, Sudan has been experiencing crisis for years, and it has over 12 million displaced persons. When you look at Somali region and the Ethiopian region, that is the Horn of Africa, the Tigray crisis has left thousands of people dead. In fact, a few days ago, we had over 76 migrants who died while trying to move to Yemen. They died in the sea. If these people were offered asylum by Rwanda, we would understand that, Rwanda has actually offered these people. Rwanda is actually taking the beam out of our own eyes before trying to take that of an outsider. Because how do you treat outsiders better than insiders? We have this crisis here in Africa, and we do not have African countries saying, all right, let's have some refugees in South Sudan or in Sudan, some refugees in the Horn of Africa, some refugees in whichever crisis that is happening in any of the neighboring countries. Rather, we are now taking outsiders, foreigners, people that the USA are refusing to take. It is a very, very sad event. Rwanda has said that it will accept up to 250 migrants from the US in a legal deal, in a deal agreed with President Donald Trump's administration. And under the scheme, the deportees would be given workforce training, healthcare, and accommodation to jumpstart their lives in Rwanda. You see, they'll be given all of these things, whereas it is known that not everybody in Rwanda actually are employed, not everyone in Rwanda are rich, not everyone in Rwanda has it all. Now you are giving things to people when even you yourself, you are not 100% capable. Where is the sense in this? There are some certain news you just see and it makes you very much angry, very angry. And a condition of the agreement was that Rwanda would have the ability to approve each individual proposed for resettlement. Now it is known that the White House has not commented on the deal directly, but told the BBC that it was constantly talking to countries willing to assist in the removing of the illegal migrants that Joe Biden, ex-president of the United States, had allowed to infiltrate the United States. Now I think we need to come down somewhere down here. It is said that the UK had once paid Rwanda 240 million in renovating a particular asylum building. It is not clear what has happened to those facilities, right? But then the Reuters news agency reported that an unnamed Rwanda official has said the US would give Kigali an unspecified grant as part of the deal, but this has not been confirmed yet. Same thing with Eswatini. When I talked about Eswatini, you realized that when one of the officials was asked what agreements are taking place behind the scenes. He said that it is not for public hearing. So there are a lot of things that go behind scenes. I mean, I may have my reservations on Nigeria, but I'm proud that Nigeria actually, turned down that offer and blatantly said, no, we are not going to take any migrants from the United States regardless. However, here we see, Eswatini has taken hers. Some has been forced on South Sudan because that's our seat. And I think the one on South Sudan is even the most pitiless form, considering a region that has been suffering, internal crisis for a very long time, of which even the United Nations has turned deaf ears on. We have not seen the attention, to that region because of its oil, which I know it's a fact. Because of its oil, they have turned blind ears to the South Sudan region. In fact, of recent, we had a whole lot of news surrounding the whole Goma crisis, right? Because Kagame's M23 rebels, as I see it, began to take moves towards that region, and probably it seemed threatening to foreign agencies that were in that region, exploiting the region the same way the M23 actually had the motive to also exploit that region. But that took the news, that gained attention because in a way, it threatened the foreign agencies. But in the South Sudan and the Sudan area now currently, it doesn't seem to be threatening the foreign agencies. And so now they don't care how many lives are displaced, how many lives die, right? Regardless of what the RSF are doing, regardless of what the Sudanese soldiers are doing. It is just more about the resources. It is something that really it pisses me off. I want to hear your take in the comment section. I mean, let me hear what you have to say. I mean, a country of which of recent has also come under fire for backing the M23 rebels group embroiled in conflict in neighboring DRC, an accusation of which Kagame denied. And then here we are again. They have now approved or agreed to take in 250 migrants. Is this how we are going to continue in Africa? We haven't solved our internal crisis, but now we have to go ahead and add up to our crisis. And perhaps these people who are being sent, we do not even know if there are secret ulterior motives. If tomorrow they will turn out to be agencies, secret agencies like CIA operators, you can't tell. And the question is that why Africa? Why Africa? Why the third world countries? Why not neighboring countries? Why not go back to where they came from? No matter the different policies we think are in place that prevent migrants from returning back if their home countries disagree. I've read on that, but regardless of that, why Africa is the question. Let me hear your take in the comment section. And yes, see you again.